A woman by the name of Sarah Gossard, she lost her 7-year-old Shar-Pei named Nala. She had posted flyers everywhere, all over Facebook, online, et cetera, and the dog was found by a neighbor, Sandy Fleischer. When she found the dog, she said, the dog was more scared of not knowing where it was and being thirsty and disoriented. The dog bit me out of fear because I tried to touch it, which was my fault. So yes, the dog did do something violent, but the woman who found the dog was really not blaming the dog. This was a scared animal. So what happened next was she obviously called animal control, called the police. The police were able to wrangle the dog, and they got the thing around its neck so that they could get it into the truck, and they were going to take it away. And then, well, now we've got a quote from the Baltimore Police Deputy Commissioner, Dean Palmer. Unfortunately, at some point after the dog was contained, one of our officers used a knife and cut the dog's throat. This is outrageous and an unacceptable breach of our protocol. We have no words to describe this. To say we are appalled at the allegations, I think, is an understatement. I'm sorry, that was Deputy Police Commissioner Jerry Rodriguez. So before we get to the dog owner's reaction to all this, I mean, excessive, beyond imagination. Just to be very clear, they had this dog under control, no doubt. You know, remember we did that dog story maybe 2 months ago with the guy that was filming the police, and the dog jumped out. And there was some element, the dog was not contained, and we debated that. And I think a lot of people were angry at you because you were saying that, but this was not the case. They had this dog under control in the truck, caged, you know.
So what I find more amazing is not that, because we've reported on so many stories of cops shooting people who are handcuffed, right?
Yesterday.
Like literally yesterday, right? What I'm more amazed by is this is apparently the one thing that crosses the thin blue line. Like, they'll back their fellow cops almost under any circumstance, right? And in fact, the one in El Paso yesterday that we did, guy shoots someone who's clearly got his hands handcuffed behind his back, and they're like, oh, he had it coming, he was a bodybuilder, and he bumped into a civilian, and the civilian bumped into the cop, and the cop's gun went off. I mean, nonsense, total nonsense, right? Here, he kills a dog, they're like, oh no, that's it, this son of a bitch, we gotta put him away, I can't believe he did this.
I swear to God, that's exactly what I was thinking. Can you think of any other instance where they immediately, just this quickly ever that had the cops go, we screwed up?
Maybe if it was something involving children. I think it's a little bit harder to, I mean, it's a Shar-Pei. Like, there are certain stereotypes about certain types of dogs, whether appropriately earned or not, that we'll accept police brutality in regards to. And especially when it comes to like drug raids and things like that, it's almost commonplace now that they kill the dog as soon as they see it. But like a cute little dog that's under control, that they had under control, slitting its throat is just so barbaric. The dog was slaughtered.
By the way, do police walk around with knives?
I didn't think so.
Yeah, there's something really weird about that.
So that also may have something to do with why they jumped on him so quickly, because it makes no sense. Cops aren't getting engaged in knife fights, at least with knives, you know?
Yeah, and I think that the reason why people react more viscerally to the animal stories, and JR talks about this all the time when he's on the show about how, you know, people get, Michael Vick got more time for killing dogs than a lot of people get for killing humans, right? And it's because you know the dog didn't do anything evil. He doesn't have evil in its heart. Maybe it could be an out of control dog. In this case, we know he was under control, etc. But you know he didn't mean anything bad by it, right? Whereas with people, like the assumption is, oh well, if a cop shot him or stabbed him, he had it coming.
He was a bad guy.
Right? He was a bad guy who caused the cop to do that, right? But in this case, how are you going to make the argument that the dog who was contained caused the cop to slit his throat? Another cause of concern is, you know, animal cruelty then leads to worse things. If you've got a cop carrying around a knife slitting the throats of dogs, whoa!
You're going to give him a gun?
Watch out for that guy.
And on top of everything else, the woman who got bit was even saying that it wasn't the dog's fault. So we do have a quote from the dog's owner, Sarah Gossard, and she said, obviously my anger is towards this police officer. I don't want him to have his job. I don't want him to be able to go out on calls and react like that to a person, to a dog, to anything. That's not okay, and I don't know that I could possibly agree more with any of that.
Yeah, and at least in this case, the police are appearing to do the right thing, or that they're going to do the right thing. I mean, I think that we justifiably attack police departments around the country because it seems like they are breeding a sort of environment that invites violence against the people they're supposed to be protecting, and that for whatever reason, lately it seems like police departments sort of attract people who have these sort of, they want to act out in violent ways, but we don't expect it to be towards animals. And it seems like this is probably just a sick person who slipped through the cracks, and thankfully, hopefully this won't result in further violence.
Yeah, he could have done it to a person, right? And, and then, like as we were saying, ironically, he would have been more likely to get away with it. So,
right. So this must have something to do with the knife, right? It has to, because that's the piece of this.
It's possible that there's something else in their history at the police department that they know about that we don't.
Yeah, normally if they're liked, people will have their back even if they've done the most atrocious things.
Right.
But the reaction here leads me to believe that other cops in the station were like, what's up with that guy, right?
Yeah,
like, that guy is dangerous. I don't want him as a partner. I don't, he's out of control.
Yeah.
And then when he does this, they're like, okay, outrageous, unacceptable, gotta go. So, a friend of mine had this theory that everywhere you work has a secret file on you. Okay.
Oh, great.
Yes. And that they use the secret file only when they want to. Like they could use it at any time, right? But if they like you, they never use your secret file. That secret file could be this thick and they'll never use it. Yeah. If they don't like you, your secret file could be super thin. It doesn't matter. Whatever's in it, they're going to use against you.
Do you want me to distract them for a bit while you run upstairs and see what's what?
One dog, come on.
Look over here.
If you guys saw your secret file.
Oh, Jesus.